Hi guys! So yesterday we read about, we read chapter 19 from our book, The Tiger Rising, and today's chapter 20. Yesterday we read about Rob getting the keys to the tiger cage from Beauchamp, and remember, Rob is our main character, and Beauchamp is not such a good guy. He has a wild animal in a cage and feeds him meat, and we don't really know what he's going to do with this tiger yet. So yesterday we ended with Rob thinking about Sistine and her eyes, and how the tiger's eyes looking at him looked like Sistine. So we're going to find out what happens next. The last thing Beauchamp said to him was, "Now, don't forget, this is our business deal. It don't concern nobody else. You take that bag of meat and hide it somewhere, and I'll bring you more meat tomorrow. In the meantime, you keep your mouth shut." At 3 o'clock, the school bus pulled up, belching and gasping and sighing. Norton and Billy Threemonger started pelting Rob with date palms before the bus even came to a complete stop. So remember, Norton and Billy Threemonger, those are the bullies in our story, and they're not very nice to Rob at all. And they were pelting him, so they were throwing date palms. So it's a type of fruit that they were throwing at him. The bus door opened, and Sistine came running toward him, dodging the dates, looking as serious as a soldier on a battlefield. "Let's go see the tiger," she shouted to him. Rob was dismayed, so he was surprised to see that she was still wearing his shirt and jeans. "Where's your dress?" he blurted out. "In here," she said. She held up the same grocery bag he had given her the night before. "I changed as soon as I got out of the house. My mother doesn't know. I found a book in the library today and read it about big cats. Do you know that panthers live in the woods here? We could set the tiger free and he could live with them. Come on," she said. She started to run. Rob ran too, but the keys to the cage felt heavy in his pocket, and they bumped against his leg and slowed him down, so Sistine beat him there. When he arrived, she was standing pressed up against the fence, her fingers wrapped in the chain link. "Tigers are an endangered species, she said. It's up to us to save him." "Watch out so he don't attack you," Rob said. "He won't. Tigers only attack people if they're desperately hungry." Well, this one ain't hungry." "How do you know?" Sistine asked, turning around and looking at him. "Well," said Rob, "he ain't skinny, is he? He don't look starved." Sistine stared at him hard, and Rob opened his mouth and let the word fall out. "Keys," he said. Every secret magic word he had ever known, tiger and cancer and Caroline, every word in his suitcase seemed to fall right out of his mouth when he stood before Sistine. So when we talk about his suitcase, those are the feelings inside of him that he keeps locked up and that he doesn't want to tell anybody else. But for some reason, always tells Sistine. "What?" she said. "Keys," he said again. He cleared his throat. "I got the keys to the cage." "How?" "Beauchamp," he told her. "He hired me to feed his tiger, and he gave me the keys." "All right," said Sistine. "Now all we have to do is open the locks and let him go." "No," said Rob. "Are you crazy?" she asked him. "It ain't safe. It ain't safe for him. My friend Willie Mae, she had a bird and let it go, and it just got ate up." "You're not making any sense," she told him. "This is a tiger, not a bird. And I don't know who Willie Mae is, and I don't even care. You can't stop me from letting this tiger go. I'll do it without the keys. I'll just saw the locks off myself." "Don't," said Rob. "Don't," she mocked back. And then she spun around and grabbed hold of the cage and shook it the same way Beauchamp had done earlier that day. "I hate this place," she said. "I can't wait for my dad to come and get me. When he gets here, I'm going to make him come out here and set this tiger free. That's the first thing we'll do. She shook the cage harder. I'll get you out of here, she said to the pacing tiger. I promise. She rattled the cage as if she were the one who was locked up. The tiger paced back and forth without stopping. Don't, said Rob. But she didn't stop. She shook the cage and beat her head against the chain link. And then he heard her gasp. He was afraid that maybe she was choking. He went and stood next to her, and he saw that she was crying. Crying. Sistine. He stood beside her, terrified and amazed. When his mother was alive, when he still cried about things, she had been the one who comforted him. She would cup her hand around the back of his neck and say, Go on and cry. I got you. I got good hold of you. Before Rob could think whether it was right or whether it was wrong, he reached out and put his palm on the back of Sistine's neck. He could feel her pulse, beating in time with the tiger's pace. He whispered to her in the same words his mother had whispered to him. I got you, he told her. I got good hold of you. Sistine cried and cried. She cried as if she would never stop, and she did not tell him to take his hand away. So that was the end of our chapter, and I think so far Rob and Sistine are definitely a little bit more than friends. They trust each other a whole lot, almost like brother and sister even. And for Sistine not to pull away from Rob's hand, like on the back of her neck, it makes me think that she trusts him, because to anybody else, she just like kicks and screams and pushes them away. But for Rob, she is okay with it and she completely trusts him. And yeah, I would say that they definitely have like a brother and sister relationship where they can tease each other but also be serious at the same time, and they confide in each other. So that means that they tell each other things that they might not tell anybody else, and they completely trust each other. So yeah. At the end of this video, for your post, tell me what you think about Rob and Sistine. So it ended with Sistine cried and cried. She cried as if she would never stop, and she did not tell him to take his hand away. Tell me what you think about their relationship together. Especially if you've heard this whole story and knowing Sistine and like her sassy self. Tell me what you think about those two characters so far, and what you think is going to happen next with those same two characters. So Rob and Sistine. Yeah, tell me your opinions on them, since those two are our two main characters in this story. All right. Either you can type it back in response, or you can video record yourself, and I'll watch it. All right.